afternoon. I now call the Fairburn Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Staff, will you conduct roll call to establish that we have a quorum, please?
Absolutely. Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Parker,
Present.
Commissioner James,
Present.
Chairwoman Devers,
Present.
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Echols.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioners, I will now entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda for this evening.
Commissioner James, I motion that we approve tonight's agenda.
Commissioner Echols, I second.
I have a motion by Commissioner James and a second by Commissioner Echols. I now have a motion and a second, so I will call the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition, signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Commissioners, I trust that you have reviewed the meeting minutes. If there are no questions or discussions, I will now entertain a motion to approve the regular minutes.
Commissioner Smith, make a motion to approve the regular minutes.
Second, Commissioner James.
I have a motion by Commissioner Stewart, by Commissioner Smith, and a second by Commissioner James. So I will call the vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition signify by saying nay. The motion carries. I will now open the period for public comments. Please reserve your comments related to a specific agenda item when I call for comments on that item. Comments to the Planning and Zoning Commission should be limited to no more than 2 minutes. Groups wishing to address an issue should select 1 or 2 spokespersons. The time allowed for all issues should not exceed a total of 15 minutes. Issues raised at this time are generally referred to the Director of Planning and Zoning for review. Responses will be provided at a later date.
We had one comment, but it's related to an agenda item.
Thank you. We do not have any public hearing items. We will now move into the old business portions of the agenda. First item, tax amendment. The applicant, Safeguard Landfill Management, care of Henry Bailey. The applicant requests to delete and replace section 80-220 B11.
The applicant has requested to continue the item until the next public meeting.
Staff, I understand the applicant submitted requests to continue the items until the next meeting. I will now call for a motion to continue the item until the next meeting.
Commissioner Echols make a motion for the text amendment applicant request to continue the item to the July meeting.
Second, Commissioner James.
I have a motion by Commissioner Echols and a second by Commissioner James. I now have the motion and a second, so I will call the vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition signify by saying nay. The motion carries. The second item of old business. 2, use permit applicant to continue to the item until July meeting. The applicant,
Yes, that's correct. The applicant would like to continue this item as well.
Staff, I understand the applicant submitted requests to also continue this item.
Mhm.
I will now call for a motion to continue the item until the next meeting.
Commissioner Jones put forth a motion to allow applicant Safeguard Landfill Management use permit to continue to our July meeting.
Commissioner James, second.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner James. So I will call the vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those in opposition signify by saying nay. The motion carries. New business. We will now move new business portion of the agenda. Our first item of new business is as follows. 214-224 Sonoya Road, applicant, Landmark, request to review the subdivision plat.
Good afternoon, everyone. I do want to make a quick update. This is a landmark application for a subdivision plat. We have received a rezoning request. This is not the rezoning request. This is a completely separate parcel. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. The applicant is Landmark. They are requesting to subdivide a plat. They're requesting to subdivide the plat and sell a front parcel. They have 2 tracks. The parcel itself is a bit awkward because the track 1 has 2 separate zoning districts, which will make development challenging. Typically, a zoning ordinance would have a provision that would say whichever is the larger of the zoning district, that would be the standards. Because this is not the case, we had to work with the applicant to make sure that there were some setbacks that were listed, but this is a bit of an odd one, but it does conform with our regulations, and there is nothing in our zoning ordinance that says that a parcel that has 2 separate zoning districts cannot be approved. So we had to be kind of careful with that, and we did review it. The applicant is here and can tell you about what their plans are for the development of the plat. And this item will have to go before City Council. So in this instance, the Planning and Zoning Commission is just making a recommendation regarding the plat, and the applicant is here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, I will now entertain questions for staff regarding the request.
Nothing for staff.
Commissioners, now is your time to ask questions of the applicant, since there are no questions for staff.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Molly Mayfield, CFO at Landmark Christian. I'm here to answer any questions you might have, or if you need further explanation.
Okay. Another question? Commissioner, I have a question.
Commissioner James?
Chair. Good evening, Ms. Mayfield. Could you please, for those who don't have the paperwork that we have, can you explain what the separation of the tracks is for?
Sure. The original tract that whenever we purchased it 20 years ago actually had a cattle pasture in the back. So it was 3 acres. We turned that cattle pasture into a middle school soccer and football practice field. We bought Parker Electric next door, which is the 214, because we needed the warehouse and our baseballs were beating up their property. So we were just buy it and get that out of the way. But we need cash flow, and so we would like to. We don't need rental houses, and so we separated the rental house at 224 off from the practice fields, and would like permission to sell that. And that's the reason for the division, because we still need to keep the practice field in the back.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner James. Are there any other questions, Commissioner? If there are no additional questions or discussion, I will now call this item to a vote.
Thank you.
Commissioners, make a motion in a second, please.
Just Commissioner Jones, make a motion to approve the request to review the subdivision plat at 214-224 Sonoya Road. I won't read the parcel for the record, but make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Parker, second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying A.
Aye.
All those in opposition, please signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Our second item of new business is as follows. HH Resort, applicant Moore Bass Consulting LLC, requests to review the conceptual plans for the golf course. Property location is Durham Lake Parkway, parcel ID number 071700001527 and 7170001522487. Staff, I will now ask you to present the staff analysis and recommendation, please.
Yes. The site is located along Durham Lakes Parkway in the established master plan community. The subject parcel is a part of the Durham Lakes Golf Course. When the development was originally annexed into the city, it was known as Bear Clough. It has since changed name and was approximately 700 acres. The Durham Lakes Golf Course rezoning was approved in 2003 as a planned mixed-use development that consisted of single-family detached homes, residential, retail, office, commercial, and a golf course. Those were all of the approved uses. The permitted uses, of course, includes that golf course, and the language in the original ordinance also mentions accessory buildings uses incidental to the above use and the 18 golf course. There's also amenities, buildings, facilities, and lands that was listed. There were no architectural design standards in the original ordinance, so staff is recommending approval of the request because it does comply with the original master plan for the development. That, of course, was included. The applicant did provide elevations and a concept plan, so staff is recommending approval. The language in the original ordinance says architectural plans shall be submitted to the city of Fairburn as required during the building permit process. We did, of course, tell the applicant that they would have to reach out to any HOAs and that kind of thing, but as a part of our process, the only item before us is, does it comply with that original ordinance? And after reviewing it, it does, so staff is recommending approval. And the applicant and the engineer are both here and available to answer any questions.
Thank you. I will now entertain questions for staff regarding the request. Commissioners?
Nothing for staff.
No questions.
No questions? Thank you. Commissioners, now is your time to ask questions of the applicant.
Evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Steve Moore. I'm with Moore Bass Consulting, 1350 Keys Ferry Court, McDonough, Georgia, and I'm here tonight representing H&H Resorts in this conceptual site plan approval. I actually had the opportunity to rezone this property in 2003 and did the original master plan on this, so it kind of made full circle. But the proposal, and does this click through them? Okay. So as Denise mentioned, the property is located on Durham Lakes Parkway, also at the intersection with Black Diamond Drive, right across from the existing amenity center. This is an overall site plan showing the general location of the development. It is largely centered over what was the original operational driving range when the golf course was fully functional. So the application is for a resort, a semi-private resort and event center on about 22 acres of the development. The driving range, as you can see on this perspective view, is with the circled area, and again centered over where it was previously the existing driving range. There's also a 4,800 square foot clubhouse proposed, 1,600 square feet of welcome center, about 2,400 square feet dedicated to restrooms, kitchen, and fitness center, with a large resort-style pool. That pool, and I'll get into some pictures here in a minute, but that pool would have a kind of a zero entry effect a sand beach along the zero entry piece to give them, just a lot of opportunities for recreation. Glass structures, island in the middle of the pool with a glass dome structure with walkways over to it, sunken seating areas within the pool, very, like I said, what you would see at a high-class resort. The application also, or the site plan also includes improving the existing paved parking lot that's there and then adding an additional section of parking on there for a total of approximately 180 parking spaces, with a single access, gated access being proposed off of Black Diamond Drive. We think this is a great revitalization of this property. I mean, it's unfortunate that the golf course had in the past shut down. I understand it. It's, there's plans to revive it as well, but we think this will be a great catalyst for that. A boost to property values. I think it's going to certainly be an enhancement in that regard. The idea, and H&H's background is in conventions and resorts and that type of hospitality entertainment venue. So we think this would be you got the right, at least, person that's doing this that has a significant amount of experience and resume to be able to pull this off. It will be a private, semi-private resort, open to all of the members or the residents of Durham Lakes, and as I understand it, there will be discounted membership rates for those people, and then there would be higher rates for outside people that don't live within the community. So this is the gated, a schematic of the gated entry off of Black Diamond Drive. The Welcome Center, as you can see with that little flag there, is located adjacent to the pool and a couple of different structures that will be connected with some weatherproof walkways. And then that's an image of just a concept of what the inside would look like. And then the pool is kind of in the center of a lot of the development, and these are a couple of images of what I was mentioning earlier with the spherical structures in the middle of the island of the pool. And then there's some covered seating, cabana areas, again, what you would see at a 4- or 5-star resort. Another one of the spherical structures that would be there that would host parties and certain events that would use that facility there. And then of the pool itself, as I mentioned, there's some sunken seating areas connected with walkways that would connect the outside to the interior island space. And then the clubhouse, which would back up to Durham Lakes Parkway, heavily buffered by landscaping. The city has a good ordinance that has some very specific requirements for landscaping along the public right-of-way, so we have complied with those requirements. But it would have a covered drop-off area if it was a wedding event. Obviously, you could drop your bride and groom off in the wedding party and not have to worry about weather affecting them. And then that's just a representation of the inside of that structure. And then a couple of buildings dedicated to fitness center, restrooms, and kitchen area that would also be adjacent to that pool. And then the driving range, and this is a covered golf bay, 20 bays, a golf shed that would, again, provide full weather access to people playing golf, wanting to use the facility. Obviously, it would be netted just like a typical driving range, something like you would see at a Topgolf or something similar to that. And I think that is it, and I am happy at this point to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioners, are there any additional questions, concerns?
This is Commissioner Jones, just curious, you said semi-private, right? So is it separate entrance for people that are members of the club versus they're going through the existing neighborhood? Can you just talk a little bit more about that access?
Yeah, the only thing that's separate is the gated access to the parking lot.
Okay.
But it wouldn't prohibit access throughout the community. It's just for people that are members of this particular club. They would have access through the gated section into the parking lot, but it is very exclusive just to that parking lot only would serve this facility.
Okay.
Commissioner Smith? I mean, the layout is beautiful. I mean, if you guys are gonna do it that way. But I'm concerned about community, the citizens of the community, that Durham Lake is one of our biggest subdivision. And, you know, how you guys gonna promote anything with the community to get them involved in the new resort?
And there's people here with me tonight that probably know more about the functionality of memberships and how it's going to work, but I will say I had the opportunity to sit in a community meeting with residents of the Durham Lakes community, and it was communicated there, as well as what I said earlier, I think, was that there would be discounted membership. No, you don't have to be a member, but if you wanted to be and you happen to live in Durham Lakes, then you would have a discounted rate.
Well, I'll just tell you this, I'm a golfer myself. I
Yes, sir.
play golf. And if you don't get participation from the community, golf courses are not gonna last. They have to have some kind of incentive to wanna join and be a part of that community,
Yes, sir.
the golf course. The resort.
And like,
So I'm concerned about the fact that, you know, you guys y'all got the golf course laid out real good, but keep in mind, we got the residents that's there, you know, we gotta give them something to really have some kind of incentive to wanna be a part of the golf course.
yes, sir. And like I said, my understanding is that the golf course is in the process of being revived, and this is part and parcel of that renovation of that golf course. I actually lived in a Killearn community in Locust Grove, and I know that how important it is for the members to support that golf course, because golf courses don't make a lot of money, just unless they're really something special. So it does take that membership of the residents. But again, even if, once the golf course gets updated, even though there would still be a membership fee even to be associated with the golf course, obviously. So, but yes, I think, but their goal is that this is kind of going to be the catalyst that's going to help launch the balance of those renovations with the driving range and ultimately the golf course.
Yeah, one other,
Before, just one moment.
Just,
Director Brookins, I'm sorry.
thank you. Just one moment. The item before us, and I just want a friendly reminder about the kind of rules and procedures. The item before us is the concept plan. It is not a use permit or rezoning. So the item before us is the concept plan and whether or not it complies with the ordinance.
and just to clarify, right, this is just for the concept plan, just for the clubhouse, the pool, and the driving range. The golf course is a completely separate entity, separate company, separate LLC. Is that correct, or is it being sort of all done at
Same ownership structure.
same ownership structure?
But this would just be a portion of that overall ownership is subject to this application tonight. Yes, sir.
Thank you for clarifying. No further questions?
Commissioner, any other questions?
Yeah,
Commissioner
I have a
James?
question. Okay, so reviewing the concept tonight, and it's beautiful, and we've spoken before. I am concerned, as Commissioner Smith was saying, the concept is wonderful. It's not the full golf course yet, it's just this portion, but it's gonna bring a lot of traffic and activity to the Durham Lakes community. So is there a way, have you all considered how to mitigate some things like traffic and noise, or how this will affect the community?
I guess I know that when the golf course was fully functioning and vibrant and there was a lot of activity, it all kind of waned when the golf course wasn't there. And so we were kind of the assumption that it would basically be similar to what it was when it was new and up and running and fully functional. But short of that, you know, we think it's in an area that was designed originally in the master plan with the larger access roads to it. It's not in the back of a cul-de-sac subdivision street. It is in a more, you know, larger roadway sections that are capable of supporting traffic. It's got good pedestrian access to and from it. There's crosswalks all over the place in front of the development, sidewalks on both sides of the road. So we felt like it was always intended to be kind of an activity hub of the development of the master plan. Again, as the guy that drew it, I can tell you that's what it was intended to do. And so we felt like it was in line with what was originally proposed.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you all continuing to be a partnership with the community.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioners, do we have any other questions? Yeah, okay. If there are no additional questions or discussions, I will now call this item to a vote to approve or deny the conceptual plan. Commissioners, make a motion in a second, please.
Commissioner Smith, make a motion to approve the conceptual plan for the Durham Lake Golf Course.
Commissioner Echols, second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Echols. So I will call the vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Our third item of new business is as follows. Applicant, Amy Pierce, 7 Multi-Site Solutions, requests to review the conceptual plans for the restaurant, project name, Whataburger, property location, 8025 Sonoya Road, parcel ID 09F070000271062. Staff, I will now ask you to present the staff analysis and the recommendations.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, I hope you all still have some juice left in your P&Z battery pack because we have 3 items up for review. All right. So it's been a long and yet worthwhile process, and the community has been waiting for this moment. So first up for review is the Texas bread restaurant chain, Whataburger. They have submitted a concept plan application for your review. The site is located at 8025 Sonoya Road at the northwest corner of the intersection of Sonoya Road, Highway 74, and Meadow Glen Parkway. The site is currently zoned PD08, which is Meadow Glen, and is located in the Georgia Highway 74 Overlay District. The site is approximately 1.28 acres. This is what the site looks like today. An accurate, up-to-date, and certified survey is included. The site will have ingress and egress along Meadow Glen Parkway and an unnamed side street between Whataburger and Tractor Supply Company. The concept plan meets the setback and parking requirements of the Highway 74 Overlay District, as well as the design standards. The applicant is proposing a new 4,800 square foot restaurant. The building will consist of beige masonry with gray metal accents and a flat roof with 3 elongated parapets. There's a floor plan for review as well. Staff recommends approval of the concept plan with the condition that any significant modifications as determined by staff to the approved concept plan would necessitate a further review by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now entertain questions for the staff regarding the request. Commissioners, ask questions of staff.
Just to, Commissioner Jones here, refresh my memory, this meets all of the, and I know this is just a request to review the conceptual plat, but all of the must be a certain amount of feet from another restaurant that has a drive-through unless it's of a certain size. Can you refresh my memory if you have that in front of you on, it meets all of that? There's not a variance or anything that we're asking for?
No, a variance they are not asking for, and it does meet those standards. And we have been meeting with them over pretty much the last year to make sure that they do meet those standards.
Awesome. Thank you for confirming.
Thank you.
Commissioner Smith, did you just say that is, how close is it going to be to Meadow Glen subdivision?
Can I get the PowerPoint back up? So it's practically going to be on the corner of the intersection of Meadow Glen and Sonoya Road, right next to the Tractor Supply store.
Okay.
My question is egress and ingress, where is it located for that establishment?
Yes, so they'll have an exit and entrance onto Meadow Glen Parkway, and then also there's an unnamed side street right in between the proposed Whataburger and the Tractor Supply. They will have an entrance and exit on that road. So no direct access to Sonoya Road, Highway 74.
But there is access for Meadow Glen Parkway.
Yes, right across from Chipotle.
So the island that's there in the center in between the two sides, is that going to be taken away?
From my understanding, there is a opening there where you turn into Chipotle, so they will have that opening right there.
Okay, I'm trying to get a vision. Chipotle is on one side, Tractor Trailer Supply is on the right if you're going into the subdivision. There's a street that Tractor Trailer Supply, the trucks come out the back to make a U-turn to come out to where the island is.
Yes.
And already that island area is destroyed by the trucks, the wheels for the tight turn that they have to make going in and out of there. So you're going to have multiple cars coming in and out of there, also with the multiple cars that go in and out on Meadow Glen Parkway to the other side, to Chipotle and those other restaurants there.
Yes. Director Thompson, Lester Thompson of Community Development, has worked very closely with Whataburger to make sure that they address any type of traffic mitigations. And we'll also be working very closely with the police department when they first open to make sure that everything goes smoothly for those first couple of months.
My concern is, that place, that area is already crowded. And it's got, we do a good traffic, situation down there. Because I agree with Ms. Ackers, it's already crowded.
Yeah, my feeling is, the question is, it's hard enough trying to get out the back entrance on Haddon Road, let alone trying to get out to the front entrance of Meadow Glen Parkway as it is. So I'm just concerned with the traffic of a large restaurant coming in that area, what it would do. It would be terrible traffic jam. And the light as it is, when you're coming out of Meadow Glen Parkway onto Sonoya Road, the light is a quick light. It doesn't last that long as the light that goes up and down 74.
Understand.
If
You
you,
said that Mr. Thompson, Lester,
Yes.
did some kind of traffic study with this?
From my understanding, he was working very closely with them to mitigate any type of traffic concerns, but what I can do is I can get with him and I can have a response for you by the next meeting.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
if you could please, back again, I'm still having a little problem visualizing where this restaurant will sit.
Okay.
Is it across from Tractor Supply, across the little side street?
So if we're standing over to the west, from left to right, the left will be Chipotle, and then across Meadow Glen Parkway will be the Whataburger. And if you go right next to that, that'll be a Tractor Supply.
Facing Tractor Supply at the front door, it's to the left. That blank, that empty grass area, right to the
Okay.
left.
Right.
Okay.
Commissioners, any other questions for staff?
The applicant is here to answer any questions that you all have as well.
Commissioners, now is your time to ask questions of the applicant.
Oh, can I have one more question of
For
staff?
staff, sure.
So if down the road, traffic does become an issue, is this something that we can go back and fix? Make some sort of adjustment so that we can alleviate backup and congestion?
I will say that as it stands right now, I am aware that GDOT is widening Sonoya Road, and they are making some traffic solutions. But that process will probably start within the next year. So I know Director Thompson has been working with them directly to address any type of traffic concerns as of now. But I can have an answer for you at the next meeting as to what those exact plans are.
And how soon would this restaurant be built?
That'll be a question for the applicant.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, now is your time to ask questions of the applicant. Would you please come forward? Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Amy Pearson with 7 Multi-Site Solutions, and I'm representing a Whataburger franchisee. The company is called Made to Order Holdings. And we are excited to bring Whataburger to Fairburn. And I've got a brief, similar presentation. I tried to blow things up a little bit and make it colorful and happy. This is essentially the prototypical building picture that the Whataburger corporate uses. Our building will look very similar to this, but it will have a much larger dining area to meet the requirements of the Highway 74 overlay district. We had to double the dining space. Too fast. Okay, and real quick on the site plan, I did want to address the traffic concerns. We did hire a traffic engineering firm, and they have done traffic studies in the area and have been working with Director Thompson to work through some of the traffic concerns. And we will be on Meadow Glen, we'll be adding another lane, a deceleration lane, to corral the traffic off to the side so that the through traffic can still get through and get back to that neighborhood and not be stuck behind a whole line of cars. Additionally, we've laid out the site so that there is circulation that goes around the building before it hits the drive-through itself. So there is plenty of stacking space within the site, and it would very rarely, if ever, even flow onto Meadow Glen, but there's that extra lane there just in case, as kind of a safeguard against messing up the traffic. And then we do, as I had mentioned, have a shared access with the Tractor Supply that has a right-in, right-out access to Sonoya Road. And this is just kind of an overview of the building with the 50% dining as required. We essentially doubled the size of the dining area. And this is the east elevation, or the front of the building facing Sonoya Road. The drive-through on the west side. This is the south elevation that will face the Meadow Glen Parkway side. The drive-through windows essentially in the middle of the building, and like I had mentioned, the traffic will circulate around the building to enter the drive-through. And there will be 2 drive-through lanes. That's their standard that they use, because they do make every burger fresh to order. And so they try to stay under 5 minutes per vehicle to get the orders out, but to do that, they use 2 lanes to kind of stagger people. And they'll serve people at the window, and then also, they call them their family members, the employees, will bring the orders out to the lane B, to the other lane. And this is the backside. They had added some accent lighting. The architects did add some interest to that side of the building. And that only faces an interior roadway that goes between Meadow Glen Parkway and the Tractor Supply, that little internal road. And this is the north elevation, or the main elevation, that it will face traffic or Tractor Supply in this situation. Just the way the building had laid out. And then we will have plenty of landscape to buffer it from everything around it. We'll have plenty of trees. You've got a very robust landscape ordinance, which is very nice. It helps encourage developers to add some greenery. So we appreciate that. And that is all I have for the quick presentation. And if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any additional questions?
Commissioner Smith,
Commissioner Smith?
did you guys look at any other site besides that one when you came here to Fairburn?
Yes, they had looked at several sites, and this one seemed to fit the bill. And it was with a broker that the director of real estate had worked with previously.
Was the site on 74, Sonoya?
I am not sure at all the sites that they had looked at, but I know there's multiple sites in each, as they expand through the Atlanta market. There are several sites in each community that are investigated.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Jones, how much bigger is this footprint store than a typical Whataburger? Because I've been to many.
The typical medium-sized store is approximately 3,200 square feet, and this one is about 4,750, 4,800 square feet, so it's significantly larger.
And then what is the Whataburger footprint in, say, the South Atlanta, South Metro area? I know there's one in Noonan, and there's this one. Is there plans for further expansion in the South Atlanta market?
Yes, absolutely. We've got a store going up right now in Fayetteville, and we've got stores planned, I think there's probably 10 to 12 that will be under construction within the next year.
Okay,
There's
awesome.
quite a few.
Thank you.
Commissioner Eccles?
Commissioner Eccles?
I think you mentioned that there's another lane proposed to be built
Yes,
on Meadow Glen Parkway?
correct.
How is that, in place of the island that's currently there?
No, the island will remain at this time. We're going to, the traffic consultants, the engineers had done their studies and proposed that we line up the driveway with the drive across the street for Chipotle, because if they were offset, like if we didn't line up directly, it would cause more problems than just having a direct cut across. And so what they came up with is that we will add another lane on the, what side is that? It would be the north side of Meadow Glen that goes into the site. So that'll take the traffic that's going to turn right into the Whataburger and take that essentially off the main lane of the street.
So it'll be part of the property that's already there that's going to be used to be cut off and a lane to be made.
Correct. Correct. And that'll be constructed as part of this project and no cost to the city.
Thank you.
Commissioners, are there any other questions?
Thank you.
If there are no additional questions or discussions, I will now call this item to a vote to approve or deny the conceptual plan. Commissioners, make a motion in a second, please.
Commissioner Jones, make a motion to approve the conceptual site plan for Whataburger at 8025 Sonoya Road.
Commissioner James, second the motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner James. I will now call I will call the vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition signify by saying nay.
Nay.
The motion carries.
Excuse me.
Madam Chair, we did receive one note from a property owner in the area.
Yes.
I believe it's the HOA.
Okay.
It is a note saying opposition. That is just to make sure that it's a part of the record. Because this is not a public hearing item, public comments are not a part of that process. But because I did receive this note, I wanted it to be a part of the
Entering.
record.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Our fourth item of new business as follows: Package Depot retrofit. The applicant, Ishwa Dashaba, excuse me if I butchered your name. Architectural Design Workshop, PC. Request to review updated elevations. The property location is 7895 Sonoya Road. Parcel ID number is 09F070000270825. Staff, I will now ask you to present the staff analysis and the recommendation.
Thank you, and hello again. Next agenda item may seem familiar to you all. We will be reviewing the Package Depot retrofit again, version 2 that is. We will be reviewing the elevations which were revised, and the applicant can answer any questions about the reason why there was a revision when my presentation concludes. The site is located at 7895 Sonoya Road, which is Highway 74, on the northwest corner of the intersection of Sonoya Road and Peachtree Landing Circle. The site is currently zoned C2, which is general commercial, and is located in the Georgia Highway 74 Overlay District. The site is approximately 2.33 acres. This is the site as it stands today. An accurate, up-to-date, and certified survey is included for your review. The site has existing ingress and egress along Sonoya Road and Peachtree Landing Circle. The elevations meet the design standards of the Highway 74 Overlay District. The applicant is proposing a retrofit of the existing 8,400 square foot building. Some elevation changes include new signage, artwork, lighting, and architectural details. The canopy will be repaired and repainted. The walls will be altered and repainted. Windows will be removed, repaired, altered, and replaced. Existing signage will be removed. The color scheme is burgundy and cream to match with the neighboring building. The masonry will be repainted brown. There's also a floor plan for review as well. Staff recommends approval of the elevations with the condition that any significant modifications as determined by staff to the approved elevations would necessitate a further review by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now entertain questions for staff regarding the request. Commissioners ask questions to staff.
Commissioner Jones, I wish I had the old photos, right? What was, in your opinion, substantially changed from V1, right, visually to V2 of the plan? Because I remember this item coming up to us.
Right. There are some significant changes from the first version to the second version. The applicant will be able to answer more so to those changes.
Thanks.
Commissioner James, I do remember this item before, but I'm thinking there was a second building
Yes.
that was built, so now we're addressing the original building, is that correct?
Yes. When we reviewed this item, I believe it was May of last year. I may be wrong. That was my first commission meeting. But when we reviewed it, it was for a retrofit of the existing building. Now, before I got here, there was approval to the newer building where the package depot is today. So that building is up, and so this will be a retrofit to match the aesthetics of that newer building.
Okay.
Commissioners, are there any other questions for staff? No questions. No? All right, thank you, Chancellor. Commissioner, now is your time to ask questions of the applicant. Would you please come forward? You introduce yourself,
Good
sir?
evening. My name is Ishwa Dayabai. I'm from Architectural Design Workshop, and I represent the owner, Mr. Mohammed Khomeini. Mr. Khomeini's been in the area since the 1970s, and he's had his store over there, and that is the store that we are trying to remodel right now. To answer the Commissioner's question regarding version 1, well, the owner budgeted to do both the buildings with the capital and what the bank would allow him to loan for the two buildings. But with the pandemic and the cost rocketing over 75% over its original cost, we have to cut down on costs. The first version was we were going to strip the whole building, including the brickwork and everything, and then remake the building, just leaving the structural steel shell alone. But that is not going to be possible anymore. So what we've done is that we've come up with an alternate scheme that still answers the needs of the owner, and also to match the environment.
And will this building continue to be a package store? liquor
No, it will be divided into little retail outlets.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll house maybe 5 different businesses? Looks like there are 5 doors.
Well, what we don't know how many businesses are going to be there because we haven't finished the renovation and we haven't leased the properties as yet. But it allows for small businesses, you know, each module size is around 1,300 square feet, which allows a small business to be able to rent and afford the rent, but in a prime location.
Okay.
So that's the idea, is to help the little guys also benefit of the, you know, the boom that's happening in the city.
Director Brookins.
No, I don't have any additional comments. It's a concept, so it's a
Just concept.
retrofit of the existing.
I have a question. There are 2 businesses already there, correct? They're going to stay?
Pardon?
There are 2 businesses already there, they're going to stay, like the motor vehicle business, and
Well,
there's another
yeah,
place.
the tenants have indicated that they would like to stay, but that's not a given.
Oh, okay,
It's not a given.
okay. That's all I have.
And this concept here, this is what the building will look like with the stripes?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are no additional questions or discussions. I will now call this item to a vote to approve or deny the conceptual plan. Commissioners, make a motion in a second, please.
Commissioner Echols, Package Depot retrofit, 7895 Sonoya Road. I make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Smith, second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Echols and a second by Commissioner Smith. So I will call the vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Our 5th item of new business is as follows. Text amendment, rental leasing vehicle, applicant, Speed Enterprises LLC, request to review text amendment, automobile, truck rental leasing. Staff, I will now ask you to present the staff analysis and recommendation.
Absolutely, thank you. I did want to note that the applicant could not make it tonight. They are dealing with some health issues, but we will try to make sure that they are there for the public hearing with mayor and city council. All right, so I also want to thank everybody tonight for their time. I know that we've been having shorter meetings lately, and this is going on to an hour, but we have accomplished a lot tonight, so your time is greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so last up, we do have a text amendment. The applicant is requesting approval to allow automobile and truck rentals or leasing in the M1 zoning district. Speed Enterprise LLC began operating on the site in 2020 and never received a business license from the city of Fairburn. However, the existing regulations were established in 2015, and because the automotive uses were conducted on the site without a valid business license, the use became illegally non-conforming. So the applicant is requesting to change the regulations to reopen their business. So staff recommends the following modifications if the request is approved. This speaks to the use of motor vehicle rentals. And the following are the supplemental regulations that will be attached to this use. A, there will be a minimum 1 lot acre size. B, all vehicles shall be parked on paved surfaces or pervious paving materials approved by the city engineer. C, this is a little bit of a mouthful, so please follow along. No vehicle shall be parked or displayed within the boundary of a public road or street right-of-way, within any side or rear building setback area, or closer than 100 feet from the nearest residential structure. It shall be unlawful for a business engaged in the minor repair or sales of automobiles, trucks, buses, trailers, boats, motors, recreational vehicles, farm tractors and machines, and all other motorized and towed vehicles and parts thereof, to repair such vehicles and parts in the area adjacent to or within 150 feet of a single-family residential zoning district. D, a solid fence or wall no less than 8 feet in height shall be maintained to provide a visual screening between the residential and commercial properties. E, such fence, wall, or buffer shall be maintained in good condition at all times. F, vehicle maintenance, repair, painting, and bodywork must take place within the building. G, all vehicles awaiting maintenance, repair, painting, and/or bodywork shall be stored within an opaque fence or wall and not visible from the nearest public road or street right-of-way or neighboring property. H, lastly, a solid fence or wall no less than 8 feet in height shall be maintained to provide a visual screening between the residential and commercial properties. I conclude. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you, Chancellor. I will now entertain questions for staff regarding the request.
Commissioner Parker, is this affiliated with the enterprise that's on Sonoya? Enterprise rental car?
No. This is Speed Enterprise. That is a business at 337 Bay Street, I believe. They are opting to basically have a U-Haul business where they rent out U-Haul equipment. That speaks to the trucks that they have as well as their trailers.
That was my question too. Did they operate without a permit?
Yes, they operated their business without a business license, and they are submitting this application because they plan on coming into compliance with our zoning ordinance as it stands today.
Commissioner Jones, very familiar with this site, probably pass it every day. Is the purpose of this, right, that we're approving this text amendment that would say, hey, right, if we grant another business license, you're going to have to come up to all of our new zoning requirements, because currently the business as it sits today does not meet anything here, right? Cars are parked on the road at all hours of night. It's a torn down, junky fence. People are working on cars. It's just kind of a used junk car lot. So the point is, hey, we'd love to give you potentially a license, but you got to have a nice solid wall. You can't be working on the cars on the road. No cars parked. I mean, I'll come home late at night and there's cars on the road, you know, rental U-Hauls or things like that. So that the purpose of this has nothing to do with the business, more of the amendment, letting them know like what they have to do in order to get up to code, so to speak, or get up to speed.
Absolutely. While the applicant did file this application, it is within the city's best interest to basically treat anyone who has this type of business the same, to make sure that we are consistent and to make sure that the residents of Fairburn are happy with how that business is being ran. So these provisions, these supplemental regulations were provided to address any of those type of concerns.
Okay, so a vote in theory for approving, says we're approving this text amendment. We're not approving this business per se. We're approving this amendment that says if you want to reopen, you've got to have all this nice stuff versus the way it was existing. Is that correct? Correct recap.
Absolutely, that is correct. This business will absolutely have to go through the business license process. And during that process, we review every single supplemental regulation. We go out to the lot ourselves to review the lot to make sure that they do stay within those supplemental regulations so that we can issue them a business license.
Awesome.
City Planner Felton, so we're talking about they're repairing cars and things like that right now. This is asking for text amendment, automobile and truck rental and leasing. Going forward, is it just rental and leasing, or is there some sort of repair that will be happening?
Going forward, we have made it, and they have made it very clear that their intentions is to do simply a U-Haul truck rental and leasing. All automobile repair and sales will cease.
These two exist.
Okay.
It does say, though, just to clarify, right, vehicle maintenance, repair, painting, and bodywork must take place inside a building, right, sort of hidden from view, and there is an existing structure on there, correct?
Correct, there
Okay,
is an
just-
existing structure,
Just want to make sure. Thank you.
absolutely.
Commissioners, are there any other questions for staff? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right. So the applicant is not here. So there are no additional questions. We'll now call the item to a vote to recommend approval or denial of the proposed text amendment.
Commissioner Jones, I put forth a motion to, a request to approve the text amendment automobile and truck rental leasing as it relates to this matter.
Commissioner James, I second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner James. I will now call this item to a vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Commissioners, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the public meeting.
Commissioner Eccles, I make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Commissioner Parker, second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Eccles and a second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposition? All those in opposition signify by saying nay. Motion carries. The meeting now stands adjourned.